how I lost 1.4 million in funding in under 2 weeks, what went wrong, and how I plan to move forward. If you're new here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. We keep it 100% real, none of this guru shit, only straight facts and value. I've always been 100% transparent with you. It's why I started this channel in the first place. There's not enough of it in the industry, and I feel there should be a lot more of it because look, shit can get tough in this game. It's a hard industry, and no matter what you think and no matter how well you are trading, it only takes one series of bad events or poor decision making and you can literally lose the lot. And this is essentially what happened to me. 600k of that was due to MFF. That's not exactly me losing it. However, it's gone, so therefore it's been added into the 1.4 million overall. See, I lost that and I was just like, look, I'm going to be a bit more aggressive on my accounts. I'm going to be a little bit more like less bothered. I've got other ventures I'm working on. I'm looking at growing other things. Life just got really busy. That is the front of it. Now look, I take full responsibility and full accountability. It's no one else's fault. Obviously in hindsight, I can see where I went wrong straight away. And that's what I want to share today. I was getting bored and frustrated staring at the charts. I have a very strict system, and when I follow that system, I'm very profitable. I've got a very clear way to define a daily bias. And I think what started to happen was my bias was right so often, but because my entry criteria was almost too strict and I wasn't getting in the move, but because I got the bias right, my head started saying to me, but you were right, why are we not in that trade? I started to go down that route of almost not following my plan, not being disciplined, not being patient, probably getting a little urge of greed. You know, it's coming to the end of the year. It's the business end of the year. It's where I've got certain goals I want to tick off. It's where I want to achieve certain amounts monetary wise. And I guess I just got a little bit too aggressive. You know, the market bit me in the arse. What I want to get at here, right, is when you have a quote unquote a busy lifestyle, right, usually what happens is something takes a hit. Now, usually for me, it used to be my health. Anyone that remembers me or followed me for a long time, I used to look like a bowling ball. I got very overweight because I was pursuing this trading thing. Now, one thing I will never forget again is my health, because your health is your foundation. It is like a tectonic plate, and if all of a sudden your health goes to shit, no matter what you've built is crumbling down, right? So my health this time round, I didn't let it take a hit. I was going to the gym, I was doing my steps, I was doing my yoga, I was doing everything that I needed to do to ensure me as an individual was in the right frame of mind, health, whatever. However, when it came to trading, I was half-assing things. I would just hit the button and be like, oh, whatever. I would double my risk. I've got messages where I've messaged a friend and gone, yeah, I've hit that with 3% risk. You know, it's very out of character. As I've always said for a long time, trading will highlight to you where you're going wrong, and it will punish you until you learn from it, and then you find a way to move forward. And it has given me some incredible lessons, which I'm now looking forward to implementing and moving forward. Another big key takeaway here is always stay grounded. In the world of trading, the highs can be high, but the lows can be low, and they can be devastating. And how you react to them determines the outcome. If you get the hump, you go crazy, buy a load of accounts, and then take that anger out on the accounts, you're going to likely blow them up. And if you do manage to pass them, you're probably going to find a way to jeopardize it in some way, whether it's getting a big payout and losing it or whatever it might be. Be humble, do your thing, focus on you. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about what other people are making or saying or whatever it is. Just focus on you and do you. But always remember, the market is ready to smoke you on sight. And as soon as you fall off, or if you feel yourself falling off, it's better to take a step back, have some time off, recoup, regather your thoughts and go again. And obviously this is where like the flow zone score and things from Rewired have been massive for me, because although I've still been doing them, I guess a part of me, being accountable and honest, had kind of neglected when I was writing down, I don't feel the best today, or I've got a crazy day, I'm busy. That usually would lead to me making an impulsive, poor decision in trading. And then rather than acknowledging that, I almost ignored it, knowing full well the repercussions. Like I say, sometimes we learn best when we get smoked, when we hit a rock bottom point, or when we hit a moment where we're like, I don't like that. I don't like the way that feels. What am I going to do about it? And that's essentially what's happened to me. It took a while to happen, and I had people around me kind of giving me that advice that it was kind of happening. And I was, I guess, oblivious to it because I was focused so much on other stuff. I've been crazy busy lately. And look, I'm not saying, oh, I'm busier than everyone. There's people out there probably way busier than me. I think another one is balance, you know, and I've spoken about this many a time on the channel, but having balance in all areas of life is so important. You need to allocate and time block better times to do certain things. So for example, now, content for me, I'll be filming all of my content on a Tuesday. It doesn't mean on Tuesdays I won't trade. It just means that I'm aware on that specific day my focus could be a little bit more skewed. Now I'm not going to start doing content till 10 because I finish my London session at 10, and therefore I don't trade again till 1, and I'll probably get most of the content done. But what can be quite difficult, especially in this entrepreneur life, is when you're wearing a hat as a content creator, then you're an editor, then you're a photographer, then you're a trader, then you're a dad, then you're a partner, then you've got to clean the house, then you've got to walk the dog, then you've got to go to the gym, then you've got to just run errands, Then you've got to work on Elysium. Then you've got phone calls with investors in different parts of the world. Then you've got problems happening. You've got to figure them out. Then you've got people messaging you about this or emailing. You can see how many hats go on to almost the point where your hats are up here and you're like, Jesus Christ, something's going to take a hit. I try my best and I focus on having balance, and I pride myself in having a disciplined routine and being strict. But like I say, something will take a hit, and it happens very slowly. But I think another massive one I want to highlight here is if this is you, or if you've gone through a similar thing, and you'll all have your own moments. It might not be that much capital, it might be even more capital, it might not be to that extent, or whatever it is. But having the acceptance and the responsibility and the awareness to truly go, okay, I fucked up. How do I fix it? What is this trying to show me? How can I learn from this? That's the most important thing. Owning up to our mistakes isn't easy, but it's completely necessary in order to see growth. Too many people are stubborn and arrogant and will not admit it, and they will find other ways to point the finger, when in reality, taking responsibility is the first step to making amends. As Winston Churchill said, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Like I say, this is not for a sympathy vote. This is not for people to come and, oh, don't worry, mate, you'll be back. You've got this. I know I've got this. I believe in me. And ultimately, it's about believing in yourself. If you have self-belief, if you truly believe you can do it, it doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter what barriers people put in front of you or what barriers life throws at you. You will do it. If you don't believe in it, then you need to go and work on why do you not believe in it. I've been going through Rewired. I've been going back over it, just making sure. It fascinates me as well with Rewired, because those of you that have got it, you'll understand. But every time I go through it, I pick up a new thing that I'm like, that wasn't there before. To the point, a few weeks ago, I messaged Mark and said, have you added something new into the content on this section? Because I don't remember that. And he just laughed and was like, nah, it's always been there. And it's just so funny how when you're going through it, you can miss something, right? Maybe you're only focusing on what you want to hear or whatever. I've gone through that like 9 times and I still pick up gems. If you're not on Rewired, look, honestly, it's been game changing for me. It's allowed me to develop in areas of my life that honestly, like, I can't explain to you unless you understand them yourself, but silly things that would niggle at you, things that would bother you, whatever it might be, used to really affect me and change my whole entirety of my day and my mood. And now I just don't even care. I acknowledge it. I see it as an error thought. I look at the different perspective and I just move forward. Nothing's going to have the power to ruin my day, because I am blessed and grateful to be in the position that I'm in. I'm grateful to be able to wake up, walk, eat, drink, have a hot shower, film content, have the internet, work anywhere in the world, be at home when the kids are off, have a car. All these things I'm grateful for. So how can one event bring me down? And if you're letting one event bring you down, you have work to do. There's always going to be things throughout our day that try and test us. And look, sometimes they're harder than others, and it's okay to have a moment where you're like, oh, it's really getting to me. But there's ways that you can overcome that when you can see it from a different lens. And I think too many people are still looking through that blurry lens, and I was. And I highly, as I've always said, recommend Rewired. There's a link in the description. You can save yourself a little bit of money with Albi10. If you don't want to use my code, just use the link and just go and help yourself. So obviously the comeback plan, essentially, I'm not changing much, if I'm honest, because like I say, a lot of it was just me being an idiot. Focus for me is basically going back to the basics, doing what I know I can do, trading how I know I can trade, ensuring that I'm locked in when I'm trading and focused to the full capacity. And if I'm not, putting that discipline in place that I have in other areas of my life to go, look, you've woke up, today's been a tough morning, things haven't been going your way, you're probably going to take it out on the market unconsciously. Just don't trade for the minute until you get yourself in the correct flow state. A second thing is, again, it kind of aligns with number one, but setting clear boundaries for myself. When it's my trading session, ensure my focus is on trading. I got into the habit of, right, I'm watching the chart, not a lot's happening. Right, I'll go on YouTube, I'll watch a video. Right, I'll work on some content, graphics for Elysium. Right, then I've got a call with someone right in the middle of my trading session to discuss investments for Elysium. Cool. Then I've got to jump on a call with someone else to discuss something else. Then I'm designing a thumbnail, and it's all happening in and amongst the trading session when I'm meant to be focused. Now, like I say, I'm thankful that it's just funding. And, you know, I don't treat funding in a, oh, it's funding, I'm so scared of it, it's sacred. To be honest with you, if anything, I'm being a lot more aggressive with funding now. I'm risking more. Just again, because I have, when I trade properly, I have a high strike rate. I've adapted a few things. I've changed a few things. My strike rate's a lot higher. I trade less frequently. So for me, passing challenges and whatnot, I'm risking sort of 2% now because a couple of trades and it's done. I don't see the reward or the ROI on me keeping a challenge running for months personally. Again, that's not to say that's wrong if you're doing that. I highly suggest taking as long as you have to get it done. It's just, let's say you go into drawdown on a challenge and you're in it for 4 months. You could argue just getting out of that drawdown in 4 months, there was no kind of reward. It's almost like you might as well have got another account and then gone because you'd have been in profit. Again, it always depends on your financial situation and it depends on your ability. But that's just me. That's just how I'm viewing them now, because I want to use them to grow more money to then put into Elysium to then let them run on the algorithms, and I can just sort of chill and obviously work on growing that and growing other businesses. And then I think the other one is open to learning, open to growth. I've never like not had a growth mindset or switched it off all of a sudden. I'm always in the growth mindset phase because I believe that's where we truly grow and how we get better. However, I think learning from my mistakes, learning from what I've done wrong. Fortunately enough, I journaled everything, even though that wasn't going well. I journaled it all because I know that's how I'm going to grow. And you have to remember, like, failing is a part of success, and the most successful people in the world fail. And when you hear their stories, some of them fail incredibly worse than blowing up some funded accounts or losing a bit of money in trading. The growth comes from when they learn from that and they implement what went wrong. And usually you see a massive spike in growth. And I think this is exactly where I'm at now. I got down this habit of wanting to chase all the funding in the world. And again, the reality of it is 500k in funding, you can make serious money if you're consistent. So I'm also not going down that route of just launching all my money into funding. I probably look to get back to sort of 500k to a mil. Challenges for me are boring. They're not fun or enjoyable anymore. Making that 13% or that 15% before you get anything is just a bit long. And I'm not saying it's bad, you shouldn't do it, but what I am saying is, for me, someone that's had the experience in them now for a long time, I don't want to be doing them continuously. I think if I do, I'll just buy them all at once, stick them on a copier and go. Obviously, the only downside to that is just what happens to me. When you have a bad day or a bad period, everything takes a hit. So I think, again, a lesson from that will be, let's say I've got two 200Ks with Bespoke. I will get one of those 200Ks when it's live, will be like my safety account. And then the other 200k and the other, say, 400 to 800k will be like on a copier. But I'll probably have one account that's like the emergency account. Just like having an emergency fund, if you were to not make any money, all of a sudden you have an emergency fund. I'll probably have an account like that where I'll trade on it, lock it in, profits, whatever, but it won't be linked to everything. And that's just something I've learned from doing this. It's one of the lessons, is maybe don't have everything on a copier, because when it goes wrong, everything gets to beat. Like I said, it's not for sympathy. I'm not looking for you to all be like, oh, Al, don't worry, mate, you've got this, you're the man. Like, I know I've got this. That's not arrogance. It's just I know who I am. I know my identity. I know what I'm capable of. I know my ability. There's so much. I could go on for hours. Don't want to, because I know most of you have gone to sleep. But if you haven't and you're still with me, as always, I appreciate all of you for watching the video, supporting the channel, subscribing. There's a lot of links below. Check them out. The links purely help the channel grow. I want to get a new camera. I want to get some new bits and bobs. I've upgraded the setup. This I'm really liking. I might just play around with the lights a little bit. But let me know in the comments what you think. Without further ado, I hope you'll have an incredible rest of your day. Peace and love, gang.